After a week-long stay in Provo, Turks and Caicos, with 2 other kid boats, we left the marina and headed east. The plan was to sail to Puerto Rico with an overnight stop on night 1 at a small island to sleep. The journey from start to finish was projected to take 3 nights. We didn't make it to Puerto Rico. Keep watching to find out why. Thank you, Turks and Caicos.
Thank you, Turks and Caicos, for having us.
It was fantastic. Woohoo! Joining us for the first leg of the journey from Provo to anchor off a small island is sailing vessel Pura Vida.
Okay, Florida's here. This is where we're in Turks and Caicos. I'm going to go around the top. I'm going to stop down here. It's supposed to be a really great anchorage there. From there, missing the Silver Bank, over the top of the DR, and then into Puerto Rico.
Pick your partner. It's probably gonna be Hayward, right? Do you want to play rock, paper, scissors, shoot on the side? What did you do? Scissors. I did scissors. Scissors.
Rory's got something big on the back of that hook. Wow! Look at that! Good job, Hayward! After the excitement wore off with Hayward's beautiful mahi-mahi, Sienna, Simon, and I soaked up the beautiful blue waters and calm seas. Heading east and south along the Caribbean is a difficult task. The trade winds are usually blowing straight on your nose, a situation that requires motoring and not sailing. To get east, many boaters often wait for low winds and calm seas, making the motoring experience as comfortable as possible. You'll notice that our main sails are up even though we're motoring. That's not to help with propulsion, but to enable the boat to have a greater amount of stability. With the main up, the ride is a bit smoother. The reel has just gone. We've had it out for hours. You can do it, Simon, you can do it. Oh, it's beautiful.
What is it?
I don't know. It looks like a yellowfin tuna. Can you keep going? Can you grab the line and pull it up? I had to put the camera down and help Simon pull the fish into the boat. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's a little bit after 5 o'clock. Really calm. You wouldn't think this is the Atlantic Ocean, would you? You can see a bit of land way back down there. That's still part of Turks and Caicos. Otherwise, you can't see anything else in any other direction.
We're sailing past Grand Turk now at the moment. Well, we're mostly sailing, and we are going to go into the most southerly island of the Turks and drop an anchor and sleep overnight. So looking forward to it.
How much longer?
We've got 2.5 hours.
Okay, so we're anchored. There's loads of birds. And we can hear the surf breaking in front of us. It is rather swelly. It was kind of disconcerting with these birds all over.
Okay, so that's our friends, Pura Vida. They're coming in. They're about an hour or so behind us. And I'm just going to talk them in. And there is just loads and loads of fish action around. I think that's because of our spreader lights are on.
When we anchored here last night, it was pitch black. We knew that land was nearby not through sight, but by the use of our plotters. We put our spreader lights on so that Pura Vida could see something to aim for. Without a moon, it truly was sailing into blackness. Just to give you an idea of the swell, we are really going back and forth. And it stops for like maybe 10 seconds and then it starts back up again. And it gets progressively more bouncy back and forth. And then it just cycles through again. Normally we wouldn't stop and anchor in such a swell, but the idea of having a break to sleep seemed enticing. It took a bit of time to drift off, but Simon, Sienna, and I managed to get some quality sleep. The friends on Pura Vida are coming. They're coming over to get a weather forecast and say goodbye because they're heading to DR, Dominican Republic, and we're going to Puerto Rico. So this is our opportunity to say goodbye. Oh, you guys are too cute. You're playing? Nobody's looking very happy.
Take that off your head, Hayward.
What?
You can take that off your head now.
We'll see you guys in like less than a month, I bet.
I bet we will too.
Look at you guys up here.
We're going to go from here, weather permitting, then straight to Antigua.
How long's that?
2 days.
2 days. And then we'll be in Antigua for,
To the end of the month, or?
yeah, definitely the end of the month.
Okay.
And then we'll slowly,
Are you going to?
Mrs. Harris.
Bye! We're gonna miss you guys! At this point, we didn't think we'd see Pura Vida for at least a month or even longer. As fate would have it, we saw them 2 days later. What's hard?
Saying goodbye to them.
I know. It's always hard saying goodbye. Oh. We'll see them real soon. We're at Salt Key in Turks and Caicos now. The plan is to get ourselves ready, and we've got a 2-day sail to Puerto Rico. We've just discovered that our forestay, at the front that holds our jib up, it's not working right. It's not unfurling. So we believe that when our backstay broke, something must have gone wrong there. We're going to put our staysail up, which is it's a different sail. It's a sail that goes midway between the mast and the bow of the boat. So we'll have that sail that we can use. And of course our mainsail. I'm not sure what the wind and weather is going to be doing today. Right now it's just really swelly. So Simon is setting up our staysail.
In a swell?
In a swell. Everything is really hard in a swell. Imagine tipping, all the way to the left and then all the way to the right. Repeatedly.
Well, we had a beautiful anchor last night.
We have an additional forestay that can be attached between the mast and jib forestay. Normally it sits off to the side of the mast. Simon's connecting it so that he can manually attach the staysail to the stay. Once the sail is clipped on, Simon will raise it up using a spare halyard, and then 2 sheets or lines will control the bottom of the sail. We also have 2 other lines that are used as additional support for the mast. Staysails are typically used when it's blowy. Every boat and sail is different, so these are not hard, fast rules. But for us, we reduce our jib when the wind gets over 30 knots. Instead of reducing the jib, we could instead use the staysail to reduce wear and tear on the jib. Personally, I don't like the sail very much. We only use it when it's blowing over 30 knots, and in those kind of winds, it's not fun messing around on the foredeck. And if a squall comes, it's not easy to get down very quickly. I would have preferred our boat to have a furling mechanism so we could control the sail from the cockpit.
Bye-bye, Big Sankey. Thanks for looking after us, even though it was a bit swelly. Shame we couldn't get onto land, that the breakers were too rough. But we're now going to Puerto Rico.
Yep, so goodbye Turks and Caicos.
Oh yes, bye Turks and Caicos.
Yeah,
That's
this is the very last bit of Turks and Caicos. Here's our tuna, and we've got everything we need: wasabi, ginger, and soy sauce, so let's hope it's good. It is outstanding. The reward of all your labor.
And that's only half of it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I froze the other bit.
You might have to take it out and make it off.
There we go, we're nearly up to... We just staysail out, we're nearly 5 knots.
Yeah, we can do that. It was a shame that we couldn't use our jib, as we would have gone a couple knots faster, but nonetheless we were sailing. and sailing is better than motoring any day. As dusk fell upon us, we read our books, played on the iPad, and enjoyed light conversation. There was nothing to see, no land, no boats, and very little wildlife. However, during the dark of the night, I suddenly heard a boom, 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 boom above my head. Can you believe that a flying fish jumped on top of our spray hood? It scared the crud out of me. Simon and I slept in the cockpit, taking turns on doing night watches. We woke to another beautiful day. Anybody in the neighborhood?
Yes, we've got 2 ships on AIS. We've both around 700 feet. One's going to Florida and he's out there. He's going to miss us by about 2.5 miles. And then we've got one coming up behind us who's just going to miss us by 55 feet. Oh, last time I looked.
55 feet. Oh, somebody's going to have to alter course there.
Well, that's still a lot. It's still 2 hours away yet. So.
Yeah, that's pretty close though. Is it a tanker, do you think?
Don't know. It just says cargo, so.
All right,
and
so.
that's going to Trinidad.
Okay, so generally when we're sailing, well, actually motoring right now, there's nothing to do. So it's exciting when you pass a ship.
Right, this is our plotting system, and this is the ship that's going to Florida. It's going to pass us within about 2.5 miles, and this one is the one that's going to Trinidad, and it was going to pass us by 55 feet, and that last time I looked it was a mile.
But that's how we know what other boats are in the neighborhood are using our AIS system.
And if I show you, you go on the list, viewed it, and the CPA is how close you're going to get, so he's 2.9 miles in 26 minutes.
Yeah, so this helps us know what we need to do to avoid hitting things.
Yeah.
There's one of the ships. We think it's a Holland America cruise ship. And that's as close as he's going to get to us. 3 miles. Lunch today is frozen burritos that Simon just heated up in the oven. Kind of need easy food because it is very choppy and swelly. I just took a nap and I woke up, and it takes me a while to wake up. I don't know why. I think it's from the seasickness pills. When I sleep, I slept in the cockpit and I was in the sun but covered up. When I wake up, I swear it takes like a half hour. You can't see it. I can't really show you, but there is land. I can see the Dominican Republic. We're not too far away from there, but the plan is to skirt along the top of CR and then cut across to Puerto Rico. So hopefully the seas are going to be okay. They're a bit choppy now, but they're okay. So that's the Dominican Republic. It's much, much, much more mountainous than Turks and Caicos, which is pretty much completely flat. As we got closer to land, we started seeing more birds. And then suddenly, Simon yelled, "There's a humpback whale!" Simon noticed the whale because he saw the spray of a blowhole. And then if you look carefully, you'll see that there's a tail flapping. We watched this whale flap his tail probably about 5 or 6 times. The wind was blowing so hard I could barely hold the camera though. So would you guys say that was just one whale, or do you think there was more than one?
There's more, but they didn't talk.
That was amazing to see that one come all the way out. I can't believe they're so heavy and it got all the way out of the water.
What if it was a blue whale?
Oh, there it was. Oh. Man, they are just beautiful.
Hey, we saw it.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. We don't know how many whales we've seen, but what we have seen is that they've come straight out of the water and flipped backwards.
Why did they go backwards?
I don't know. Maybe to get like stuff off their back? Oh, I just saw a blowhole. Oh, there's another one that just jumped. So the waves are really building, so we're gonna go into Samana. Yeah, head into, we're diverting. We always have one place to divert to. Well, several places. So the waves are getting too big. We're gonna divert in. Whoa, it is really, and I mean really, getting big waves. And the Dominican Republic is right there.
Wait, so is that an island?
Yeah, that's the Dominican Republic. So that's where we're going into. But it's gonna take us a while. We gotta get around this point. When it gets very choppy, it's not uncommon for flying fish to end up on the deck of the boat, like this one here. If I happen to see a fish land on the boat, I always do my best to throw it back in the water. Now, I never think that my videos do the actual conditions justice. It was hard work to stay in our seats as we rounded the top of the Dominican Republic. With such strong sea conditions, we all put our life jackets on and tethered ourselves into the cockpit. I was counting down the hours until we entered the bay, but also feeling a bit concerned that we'd have to navigate to an anchorage in a country we've never been to, and do so in the pitch black. I wondered if the navigational lights would be working and what type of boating traffic might be in the harbor. But worrying never does anyone any good, so I pulled out my phone and I played my latest favorite game called 2 Dots. When I lost all my lives in 2 dots, I read my book. Eventually, my distraction tactics were no longer necessary. As we entered the bay, the waters come right down. So we've turned and we're going a little bit faster now. What are we up to, Sienna?
6.8.
6.8. Oh, nothing. Some stuff just spilled over, that's all.
Whoa! Where are these waves coming from, Mommy?
They're coming from across the Atlantic Ocean, and they're big suckers, aren't they?
Yeah!
We're making our way, we are right here. Show you where we are. So we're gonna anchor right here. It's in the Northeast Bay, isn't it?
Yeah,
let me show you. It's this huge
Samana.
bay. So there's the Dominican Republic and we're coming in here. Our plan was to go to Puerto Rico over this way, but it was a bit rough. We're motoring now in the dark. You can see some of the lights of along the coast here. Within about a half hour we should be at the anchor site. Just woke up and I'm looking outside. It looks like a bunch of palm trees. Let's go outside and check it out. So it's like 6:30 in the morning. Of course, last night when we came through here I couldn't see a thing because it was pitch black. So we had no idea how close we were to, well, we had an idea, but it was kind of scary. Didn't know what was behind us. We were hoping there was no boats here anchored without lights because we couldn't see. And it's not too warm actually. Hey, we got out of the swell and that was not nice yesterday. So now we're trying to read our weather forecast to figure out whether we should attempt the Mona Passage today or not. The sun is out, so we're starting to see the land a little bit better. It's really cool. Must have been like a little landslide right there. And there's all these beautiful birds around. I just had 3 pelicans swoop down next to the boat, and there's some beautiful white birds. And right now we're making water, and we got the generator running, topping up the batteries. And Simon and I both took a shower, so we feel good. While entering the Dominican Republic, the weather was way too bad for us to go on the foredeck. So we took down the Turks and Caicos flag and replaced it with the Q flag at the anchorage. And this was to show that we had not cleared into DR as of yet. Not planning on visiting the Dominican Republic, we actually didn't have a DR flag with us. Sienna and Simon just got in the dinghy and they're gonna go over the marinas right there. And I just read in the description that America's first Cafe Del Mar is in there. So, be interesting. We're gonna see if we can get into the marina. There's a slip available, but we don't know how deep it is, and English isn't their first speaking language, so Simon's gonna just go check it out. We couldn't really talk to them very well over the VHF, so better to go have a little scope and see what it looks like first. I don't know how Simon backed us into here, but he did. So we've got 2 lines going back. We're attached to the side here, and then attached to that pylon there, and those 2 pylons there. We just got here and Sienna has already been introduced to a boat kid. Within an hour, Customs and Immigration came to the boat.
We've had the Customs, Immigration and another guy, I think he was like military intelligence or whatever, come on the boat, and so we're all checked in. Went back to the immigration office and paid $70 for the boat and $12 each for us. So we got the stamps and everything, so we're all legal now to be in here. But if we move from one port to the next, we have to inform them, and I think we have to go through a certain procedure again. Hopefully we don't have to go to another port in the Dominican Republic. So from next stop is Puerto Rico.
After looking at the forecast and talking to locals, we were told it would be best to sail to Puerto Rico in 4 days. So in the meantime, we got to work with some jobs. The first job was to go up the mast and find out why our genoa wasn't unfurling.
Okay, so what's happening is the rope is catching on this bit here and it's getting cut. It's getting cut right there, look, you can see bits of it there.
Here is the halyard, which is fine up there, but come along and that was the problem.
Okay, here's the problem. I cut it there.
Yeah,
Here's
but
the
right
problem.
here, the top of the mechanism up there is cutting it. So we need to find out what the mechanism is and if there's a cap to put over it.
It should be a cover at the
A
top.
cover or something
And
to
it's not
protect it.
there for some reason. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
I mean, we had the boat for 4 years, and this has happened before, but
We thought it was an old line.
yeah, we thought it was just because the line was old, but now we realize what's going on, and we gotta find the name of the cap. So what I'm doing is we're replacing our new genoa halyard with our old one because our new one got frayed, and we think it's because the backstay, when the backstay broke last week, everything was moving around and this got all frayed up. So we need to have this re-spliced into something that looks like that. But in the meantime, we're going to put this one up, and when we get to Puerto Rico or Antigua, we'll have this fixed and replace it. So what I need to do is I need to sew these together so that we can bring them up through the mast. I'm going to use this here. And this helps you to get the needle through. And I can't go straight through, so I'm just trying to go through the side. Well, maybe I can go straight through, but it's really hard. Okay, so it's going to take me a while. And I'm using a special waxed thread. I'm not classically trained in attaching the ends of halyards together. I think it's good enough.
Let's only have to go up and straight back down, then we cut it.
Yeah. Alright, so, I mean, it's not perfect, but I think that will fit through okay.
Okay.
I'll make it tight off tight and we're good to go.
Okay, I'm going to pull on the blue rope, and then what you need to do is just, if you just help it up so we don't put any strain on it. And Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
So Simon's slowly pulling that, and I'm going to make sure that it's going up and around. So let's hope it makes it all the way back down to us. Coming through. Oh yes, it made it through.
There we go.
And we got it through. Awesome.
Awesome job.
That is an awesome job.
So old Kim's hard work is
Yeah.
now coming undone.
Now I just spent all that time putting it together, and now I'm taking it apart.
But it's done its service.
Yeah.
People put tape on, and the amount of times people have lost it halfway because the tape comes off.
Yeah, that's just silly. You need to sew it.
Yeah.
Oh man. You have to go up again? Oh man. I gotta do homeschooling at some point today, you know. Interestingly, a very strong smell of fuel became noticeable after entering the marina. Simon and I thought perhaps with the boat being tossed all over the place, maybe we developed a fuel leak. Lucky for us, a mechanic was on hand to help out.
Ray Marine's there.
So we've emptied everything out of the lazarette now.
Can you see it?
We think that diesel from the 2 canisters there spilled in the lazarette and then made their way down into our bilges, and that's why we're smelling diesel fumes. But we can't, I found some in our bedroom, diesel on the floor, and it must have come from back here. After cleaning out the engine, we started looking further back, and so you can see right there, that liquid there, that's gasoline. And I think probably some diesel. When we came in here, we shook about so much, one of the canisters in the back lazarette broke. So what's been happening is the smell of the fumes have just been traveling down through the boat to the deepest place, which is the engine. And that's why the engine smells like diesel. Wow, how did that get so full?
Because it's just...
And look, there's a jellyfish there. What else?
There's 3 jellyfish.
3 jellyfish in there.
Hurry up,
come on
sweetheart.
out. So that's a raw water
because we've
strainer.
been motoring a lot.
Yeah.
That's all.
While Simon was cleaning out the sea strainers, we had the boat washed and polished. After all our jobs and homeschooling were done, we finally got off the boat and started to check out the facilities. And here we have Sienna doing the 4-hoop challenge. We enjoyed guests on the boat, including the lovely marina manager and his girlfriend. And one night, a bunch of us cruisers all got together to have a meal at one of the 3 restaurants on site. And look who showed up. It's Pura Vida. Got here! Yippee! And they're going to be right next to us. So, Simon's there with a fender. And Sienna's showing off her tattoo. So the kids have all been reunited. Sienna can show them all the pools. Hayward came in perfectly, did a great job. It's not the easiest place to get into, but he did fantastic. We got to spend a day with many of our cruiser friends, and the marina manager put on a drinks evening for us all. So our unexpected stop off in DR was excellent. Okay, we just fueled up and we're heading out.
Thank you, Dominican Republic, for having us.
Yes. And this marina was fantastic.
Beautiful,
wasn't it?
yeah.
People were great. Fantabulous. People were great. The service was great. If you'd like to see videos about sailing, destinations, how-tos, marina reviews, and more, please support our channel by purchasing one of our sailing guides. Join the thousands of people that have already purchased our guides to get information that will save you money, provide practical tips and tricks, in addition to helping you get out and enjoy boating. Or if you're not in the need for helpful how-to information and checklists, buy one of our high-quality nautical t-shirts, beach cover-ups, and other nautical gifts at our Etsy shop. We also have a lovely community of Patreon supporters too, if that's something you're interested in. Links to all of these resources can be found in the description below. These educational and hopefully entertaining videos are made possible by the profits made through our guides, t-shirt sales, and Patreon supporters. To keep them going for free, please support Sailing Britican today.